couple of little things in relation to grain lines and seam allowance on the A-line dress with asymmetrical waistline and draped panel. So just to show you, this is what the pattern piece looks like when it's traced off. Okay, so that's your construction, and that's it there traced off. I have 1.5 seam allowance on my side seams and my shoulders and on my waist seam, and I've got 1 centimetre on my neck and armholes because it's easier to sew off 1 centimetre on a curved seam. Important to mark in your straight of grain, so I literally took that from the centre front line on my construction. And then similarly with the skirt pieces, very important to put in a straight of grain. So again, the larger piece, I simply took that from the centre front line on my construction, and on the side panel I measured from my centre front line out and drew in the straight of grain, so that when I was tracing off that pattern piece I could mark in my grain line. And again, 1.5 centimetres seam allowance the whole way around on the side seams, on your side front seam here, and on your waist seams, and of course a 4 centimetre hem. And as always with your hem, really important that when you mark on your 4 centimetres, you then fold it up and trace through for your side seam, because there'll be a different angle because of the flare. Okay, because you can see it even more pronounced on this one, it actually really cuts right back in. And especially on this one, this is actually particularly different. Okay, so that's my correct angle. So if I had just continued down my line, that's what I would have ended up with. But then when I would go to fold up my hem, I would have been missing a whole chunk of my hem allowance. So really important to fold it up and then cut through, and you end up with your angle. Okay, so they're the pattern pieces and the seam allowance and the grain line. And the next stage will be to cut out a toile. And then actually just one other thing, the square panel, I decided that the measurement I had given wasn't big enough. So for the purpose of the toile, again just to try it out and see, I've decided to cut it to the fold. So it's going to be twice as big as what I originally said, just to see what it looks like. And it's easier to cut it down when it's on the stand than try and add in more pieces of fabric.